that page, and then you can go to Les Brown University for a lovely opportunity for you to get constant information and downloads from Mr. Brown. And then if you want to take it a step further and go to the lesbrowninstitute.com, you can find out ways in which you can share your story and create your business and become your own voice to be reckoned with in the world as you bring hope and change lives. So I'll repeat those opportunities for you again later on in the show. But tonight, we are definitely excited to announce that I believe we have a double header for a few moments. We have John Leslie Brown and the one and only Ona Brown, two of Mr. Brown's children that have built an incredible platform of changing and inspiring lives. And we are just so excited to have them on and present with us as we get started with tonight's call. So Ona Brown has spoken all over the world, literally, inspiring individuals to really take action on their dreams and to own them and live them. And John Leslie has been firing up and empowering others to really understand only quality people will do in the messages that he creates and shares. There's so much more to tell you about both of them, but just so excited that they get to do this work with their father, and they get to lift up voices of hope and to really create change and opportunity across this world. And as we can see by the instances of all the different challenges that are affecting our society, and most recently, just the unfortunate and deplorable instance of hatred and bigotry that was displayed in Charlottesville, Virginia, it really shows us that we can't stand by silently and allow the wrong voices to be heard. We have to amplify voices that allow hope, change, and progress. So with that, I'm going to the line and see if we have our special guest live on the line with us tonight. So, John Leslie Brown and Ona Brown, are you live and with the Motivational Monday Night family tonight? Mic check, please.
Check 1 2 1 2. The first family of motivation is here. Can you hear us?
I can hear you loud and clear. 1 2 1 2. I am just so excited that both of you are here. The callers are in for a treat tonight. I am going to go ahead and just mute my line so you can just dive on into what's stirring up your soul, John Leslie Brown and Queen Ona Brown, and get my pen and paper out to take some notes. So enjoy the call, everybody. You are in for a treat.
Thank you. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, all the people that are tuning in from around the world. I don't want you to hear me in your phone. I don't want you to hear me in your ear. I don't want you to hear us in your heart. Tonight, with the first family of motivation, I want you to feel us in your bones. Hope has the power to penetrate beyond the ear, beyond the flesh, the right messenger, the courageous voice of a Stacey N.C. Grant, with the courage to speak faith to hopelessness. They have the ability not to just speak, not to teach, but to penetrate the bone. Right now, next to someone, when I say that I love her, I'm not talking from my heart, I'm talking from my bones. I love her in my bones. Before she traveled around the world as a speaker, before she built a lucrative coaching business, before she became a brand ambassador and a business developer and a CEO of World Impact Now, and she didn't even tell it. She went and just became capital client all on her own. She probably threw herself a party, but no one showed up. Because sometimes when you're communicating the dream, people only hear you in their ears, and they can't see what you see in your head. And right now, I'm next to someone who goes to a training not just to speak, but to listen. And Stacy talked about something. I mean, she is a destinypreneur. And Ona, there are lots of challenges in the world, and you listen, okay? Forget about your resume. They can Google you. Talk about some of the challenges that you've heard people dealing with in the last 30 days with the type of work that you've been doing.
Thank you for that, John Leslie Brown, and thank you, Queen Sis, Dr. Stacey N.C. Grant. I'm excited to be on this call tonight, and I just want to encourage every single listener that is here, the fact that you're showing up, the fact that you take time out of your busy schedule to get up an opportunity to plug into this line says a lot about who you are. And one of the things that's been coming up again and again at doing coaching and training and speaking nationally and internationally for over 22 years is that we have different crises that show up. We have different storms that show up in life. And Dad has been saying for years, when things go wrong, don't go with them. And I think about the mindset that we had to get to within ourselves in order to move forward from a 911, from a Hurricane Katrina. And I feel the same situation with us now with Charlottesville. I believe that's how you say it. I'm not sure if that's the exact name, but the place where this happened, this place where people went and expressed their hatred and their frustration within themselves. And as a result, people were hurt, lives were taken, and there's fear that comes with this. There's anxiety that comes with this. There's stress that comes with these type of situations. And one of the things that comes up for me is something that I gave to my father when he was going to speak in New York shortly after 911. He said, Ona, please go in the kitchen and come back and give me something. I don't know what to say. And what came up for me was to monitor your mind and to also monitor your mouth. That means monitor your mind, whatever thoughts you're choosing to dwell on, whatever negative thoughts you hear in your head, because everything that comes up in your head is not necessarily the truth. And so we have to be able to have a filter and understand that when fear shows up, which is false evidence appearing real, when a lot of stress shows up, something that is taking you away from your place of peace, taking you out of your centered space, it's important for us to understand the value of pouring into ourselves, of making sure that we're giving ourselves what we need during this challenging time when we're in the eye of the storm as a community, as a country, and wondering what happened. This happens in our own homes. I've worked with people that are multimillionaires and top executives and CEOs, and they've got all the trappings of success, but yet their children they don't even really relate to them well. They're like, what happened to my children? I don't know these strangers in my house. How did this happen? And it's the same thing. How can we have a country that's based upon freedom and unity and togetherness and being open to all walks of life and all cultures and backgrounds, and yet we're having these type of situations that seem as if we're stepping back in time instead of going forward in time. And what it says to me is that we owe it to ourselves to really work on who we are and to continue to do the internal work that we need to make sure that we're not off when it comes to shining our light, when we are still able to allow our voice to be heard from a place of peace and power and love and joy and togetherness. And when we are in a place of making sure that we have what we need in order to be our best in the midst of it all, because it is a collective situation. We've got it. One part of being a part of the solution is not being a part of the problem. And that means that we are working on ourselves, that we are manifesting our greatness, that we are pouring out to others, that we are making a difference in our own lives, within ourselves and in our families and our communities. And that's how we can begin to take this on in a big way and realize that it's not over in the name of Les Brown until we win.
Actually, that's in the name of John Leslie Brown. Let's get the story straight. When I was 9 years old, back when Mamie Brown was still alive, every morning I remember she had to watch Bob Barker. That was her boyfriend. my dad and I played a game called Connect Four. And in this game, I was young, and this is back in the time when, I'm not sure if you remember this, this is back in the time when adults actually beat kids in video games, or games, because there were no video games. So
right.
Adults actually beat you in games.
Mm-hmm.
Is that competitive, or is he competitive?
Very.
Very competitive.
Right.
And he was beating me in this game, Connect Four, time and time again, and it was past my bedtime, and I wouldn't go to sleep, and he asked me why, and I said, Dad, I won't go to sleep because it's not over until I win. But see, I was just talking about a Connect Four game. Now that I'm not a kid anymore, I realize it's not over until we win. It's not over until we win as a community. It's not over until we win as a global village. Don't let the negative news fool you. The sea of doubt, the sea of despair. Fear storms come and go. But that's why we have organizations like the Les Brown Institute, like Les Brown University. That's why we have the Stacey N.C. Grants of the world, the Kevin Bracey's of the world, the Lisa Lewis's of the world. That's why we get up in the morning and train and study. We work so that we all can win. That's why Ona started her company, World Impact Now. It's because it's not about the individual. It's about collective growth. And you understand that when you get out of the competition mindset. So let me correct the record. This is the most promising time in history. This is the this is the time to be most optimistic today, now more so than ever. If you know anything about history, if you know anything about how far that we've come, if you know Les Brown, he came this far because he chose to choose his future. See, and when you choose your future, you're not thinking about yourself and making short-term decisions that have long-term consequences. And so how do you win in a global economy? How do you make the type of impact so that you can build the capital and the team? How do you stay focused despite what's happening in the news and online and build something that Warren Buffett calls a durable, sustainable advantage? How do you do that? It's one word is the cure. And that's the thing that we're going to talk tonight. It only takes one thing. It takes leadership. Leadership. This week, I want you to make the commitment to look at yourself not as a spectator or a consumer. This week, now more than ever, we are calling all leaders. The first family of motivation. In the name of Mamie Brown, all leaders stand up in the name of peace. And what can you stand up with? What can you do? I'm not about to send you to a donate league. And I don't need you to go to Les Brown Institute or Les Brown University to sign up or anything. How do you lead? Share your voice. Share your voice of hope. Encourage people. For every time you hear something negative being said about society, being said about someone who's just in their bones, they're a good person, I want you to share a message of hope, not just with others, with yourself. Ona, talk about what it takes, how to communicate as a leader in the 21st century.
One of the things that we need to do, John Leslie, is to keep our minds open and receptive to what's possible for us. Dad was talking years ago about being a possibilitarian, which actually came from, I believe, Dr. Robert Schuller. And that's what we have to be in the midst of everything that we're facing. No, everything in your life may not be the way you want it to be. Everything may not be in your country the way you want it to be. I can think of some things that's wrong with this country for sure. And even when you look at all that you've done thus far, the reality is, we're still here. The reality is you're still in the game of life, and that you have been able to rise above various challenges and setbacks and disappointments and deaths and sabotages and all types of things that could have possibly took somebody else out of the game of life. But for whatever reason, you are still here. And so keep your mind open to new possibilities, to new heights, to new opportunities, to stretching yourself outside of wherever you have been. I can say for myself, one of the things that I always wanted to do was find a way to get some of that government money. I've always wanted to have a government contract, but I knew my personality style was not the one to actually go and do all the paperwork and cross all the T's and dot all the I's and make sure that it was compliant and submit everything in the right time. And then it just so happened that I kept putting it out into the universe, and I had it on my list of things to manifest this year, and I just happened to cross paths with a lady who said that's her thing. She knows how to do that. And Dad has always said that coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. And so we collaborated, we worked together, and I showed her the work that I'd done around leadership, and we put it together in a proposal, and she called me and said, Ms. Brown, you won the proposal. I said, what? Are you kidding? Me? And so then she said yes, and so I'm so excited. I was so excited. And then she was like, yeah, and it's in Houston, Texas. I was like, no, I don't know anybody in Houston, Texas. And no, I was hoping it was one of my stomping grounds like Chicago, Illinois, or Miami, Florida, or Atlanta, Georgia, places where I've lived and I have connections and roots and relationships. And she said, no, it's in Houston, Texas. And so I said, okay. And I know why they have couches in the Oval Office, why they have couches in most CEO offices when people are building major corporations of multi-million dollar corporations, because that's when oftentimes when you feel overwhelmed, you can just take a quick power nap. Right? The power nap, where you tap into the power within and you're able to expand your ability to see yourself in a whole different space and place. And so I took a little, and as I was dozing off, I went back. I was thinking, why, God? Why would it be Houston, Texas? Why not somewhere else? I don't know a soul. I've been there twice, and both times I caught the flight in and caught it right out. And then as I was waking up, I heard loud and clear, I'm expanding your territory. Trust the process. And I got cold chills, and I said, yes, I'm ready for that. And so I'm learning Houston. I'm building new relations in Houston, Texas. I'm excited because I know that it's the beginning of so many more new beginnings. And so I don't know what that means in your life. It may not be a government contract. It might be a raise or a promotion. It may be finding an angel investor. It might be finding the love of your life, or building that brand new home custom just for you, or stepping into that Lamborghini that you've been thinking about and seeing yourself driving down the road with the top down. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But I just want you to know it's possible for you. And you deserve it, and you can have it, and don't feel as if anything is off limits to you, because it's not. If you are willing to believe that it's possible, and you keep putting it out there and keep doing everything you need to do from where you are with what you have to set yourself up and be prepared and be ready, because the highest form of faith is preparation.
That's my sister. The highest form of faith is preparation. And as you can see, we are prepared with the motivation to build what my financial mentor, Darrell Davis, calls One Nation collaboration. We are prepared. Ona, I'm so proud of you. I love you so much. I'm so proud of the work that you did with the Trayvon Martin's mom and the Steve Harvey Foundation. I'm so proud of the work that you've done when Dad had sciatica and you took care of him and nourished him back to life. I'm so proud when you mentioned your story about the government contract. You never told me that was one of your goals. Mm-hmm. And you actually worked earlier in your career in the civic area.
Right.
And one of my goals was to be an author. And growing up, I remember reading Dad's book, and this was the first quote in there that made me close the book and go and give him a big kiss and say, "That's my daddy. That's my daddy." And I read the quote. It said, "Everybody's born unique, but most of us die copies."
That's right.
Everybody's born unique, and most of us die copies. And when I was on punishment at an early age, you know, and as you know, Dad put me on punishment before he saw my report card, right? And he did so because I hadn't wrote a book. because I built an audience as a speaker using his principles, the same principles that we share within our businesses. I had built an audience at an early age, but you know what, owner? I just did not know my message yet. I wanted to do something special. I didn't want to die a copy. And when you read a book like Live Your Dreams, and then when I saw you write Affirmicize and all the work that you went into it, right on Miami Beach, and it was just such a beautiful thing, and that inspired me to write my book. And this year, one of my goals of writing my book, I released it thanks to all the people for supporting, and it became a bestseller on Amazon in 3 different categories.
Congratulations.
And so I want to share with you 3 curriculums of success that I share in my book. You could go to johnlesliebrown.com to find out more, or just email Stacey NC Grant. Speaking of Houston, Texas, when you step, you know what that says, leap and what?
The net shall appear.
Exactly. So guess what? Only got the contract, the government contract. Next thing you know, we started booking gigs in the state of Texas.
Back to back.
Back to back. Next thing you know, we got a radio show in Houston.
Right.
We did a radio show. Next thing you know, hey, now we're doing another event. Put this on your calendars. August 26th and 27th in San Antonio. See, back when I was a kid, I was playing a game. I was into games. I was into game playing. But now, my dad taught me how to be a game changer. A game changer. And I'm going to share with you very shortly 3 principles. And I'm going to just tell you what's in the book and what I've learned from working with along Ona, working with my dad, being mentored by the top thought leaders on the planet. Okay? And the first thing is this. There are 3 curriculums of success. The first curriculum is the dream phase. And Ona, just speak about how people can own their dreams.
Right. One of the things that you have to do when you're owning your dreams is to be crystal clear about what you want. As I said earlier, it's so important for us to make sure that we know what we want and we don't back down from it. And when you think about a space that's your space that you know is calling your name and it's bothering you and pulling at you and tugging at you and nudging at you in the middle of the night, that's your space. That's where you want to be. Then it's just about how can I begin to create the action steps to get there? What does it require? Who do I have to become? What do I have to give up in order to be able to get there? And what is it that I need to be able to transform in my reality in order to even shift my mind to know that it's possible, to believe that it's possible? Because as a man or woman thinketh, so is he or she. And so we know that our thoughts have magnetic power. We've been told that time and time again. Oftentimes, we're not monitoring our thoughts. We're not really looking at how our thoughts are affecting our reality. And so I encourage you to continue to reprogram yourself. Don't allow society to program you. Program yourself. And understand that as you program yourself, that's going to help you to begin to create the life that you deserve.
That's what I'm talking about. And one of the things that we know is, see, the dream phase is the first phase. And guess what? Dreams represent the data of your identity. When you look at who you are not your bones. You are not your flesh. No. You are your dreams. When you learn a person's dreams, you learn who they really are, because your dreams represent who you are. And then you move to the next phase. And one of the quotes that Ona shares, and I've never forgot it since I was a kid, and I love to give her credit because I've never heard anyone else use it, so we know we heard it from Ona Brown second. She says, you don't get the life that you deserve.
You get the life that you design.
Yes, so design a life where you are serving people. Design a life where no matter what's going in the news that's negative, you are focusing on something positive, and something positive that you can contribute. If everyone just focused on the negativity and went negative, there would be no rescue workers. There would be no veterans, and there is no such thing as an unharmed veteran. But when you design a life that is built on service, you also move from the dream phase to a destiny. And if you're still alive, if you still have something to contribute, if you're on this call, just like Stacey N.C. Grant. I remember one time, she was doing a Periscope early on, late night. She was there. She was working on building her brand. And we were tired. And I said, man, why is she still working so hard? And what does it take for a woman to come on the call, to manage a global community, to build Destiny Designers International, to partner with some of the best mentors in the world? And I remember before she had released any product, before she had her brand built, before she was a master coach. And you know what? I knew that she had a dream, but I had no clue that she was a destiny builder.
Come on now. She's been bad for a long time, though.
But you know what?
But she keeps getting better and better and better and better.
And when you have a dream and you do the work,
that's required. That's a part of the process, and you continue to be better.
Yes.
Better. I was saying better so hard that I put an R in there.
Better. No, you don't want to be better. You want to be better. I want you to hashtag better. Go to ownerbrand.com on Facebook. Hashtag better. Matter of fact, don't you take Brenner.com. Don't you try to steal my Brenner.com. I got GoDaddy on my phone. Don't you take Brenner on my phone. See, when you dream about it, you don't understand that in order to go to a destiny, you have to do the work. You have to file the paperwork. You have to protect yourself. You have to build a team. So you can't treat everybody just because you think you're a leader like they're nobody. No, if you're leading yourself, that's called following nothing.
Right.
You don't have a movement.
You want to be a servant leader. You want to be someone that's willing to push up their sleeves to do the work, and to not just tell someone what to do, but to lead them on how to do it effectively, because you've already been there, done that, got a T-shirt and a keychain to go with it, and you know how to do it because you've done it yourself. The reason why I can have a person make calls for me, what I call seed calls, because in the beginning stages of my business, when I launched in 1995, it was nothing for me to do somewhere between 50 to 100 calls a day. And that was something that I learned from my father, who has an actual mole, a callus on his ear that looks like a mole. But he told me that he used to do it in an actual phone booth where he had to put dimes, a bunch of dimes in the actual machine, the telephone, in order to make those call after call after call after call, promoting himself, promoting his business, his services, and what he did as a motivational speaker. So that's something that you want to learn as a leader. Be willing to go where you are leading people, because people are not, they're listening more than to what you're saying. More than what you're saying, they're watching your actions. So let your actions speak louder than words, and know that when you are talking and bringing a message in this world, it is about you being the message that you bring and being congruent with who you say you are on and off the stage, on and off in your job or your community, but being who you need to be at all times, because people are always watching. And this is about us really stepping into our next power of greatness, our next level of greatness, and that's what the world needs more than anything, because you are the answer to someone's prayer.
Yes, and Coach John Wooten, the great UCLA coach who led his team to more championships than anyone else, he said, discipline yourself and others won't have to. And see, the reason why so many people make it, they make their dreams come true and they squander them. You have an opportunity to make a difference. Don't squander it. Think of all the people who came up under greatness and then they squandered it. Don't you squander it, because the dream is not it. The destiny is not it. And so many times people get so obsessed with themselves. They get so obsessed with their own ego that they end up squandering their destiny after they make it and make their dreams come true, and then they lose their destiny, and then they lose their dream, and then they stop contributing to society, and they become a liability as opposed to an asset. And what we are teaching, I'm teaching you something that Mamie Brown taught me. I'm teaching you something that Mamie Brown taught me in my bones when my mother showed up on her doorstep with me in her arms. And she said, that's my grandbaby. Not only do you have a dream, Mamie Brown's dream was to be a mother. Not only do you have a dream, you also have a destiny, and no one can teach you more about that than Stacey N.C. Grant. So we let Stacey N.C. Grant teach you about that. But also, Stacey N.C. Grant does not just have a destiny. You got to understand, Stacey N.C. Grant is a part of Mamie Brown's dynasty. And in order to see, when you play the game, you know, when you have the dream, it seems like the game plays you, right? Because it's so hard to make a dream. You can't get a job without the experience. You can't get into the market without actually the capital. And so you don't have the proof of concept to get any real buy-in. All you have is that dream. But when you build the team, when you build the dream team, when you have an owner Brown telling you when you're 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, can I manage you? I want 30% of everything you bring in. Here, I got you a gig.
I just took 25. I just took 25.
Whatever. She took 35 and put it away in the counter. I could never find it because she's great. And she knew that not only do we have a dream, a destiny, but also a dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you about a dynasty as we close right now. See, in order to make it for dynasty, it's about ethics over ego, okay? And there's a big difference between legacy and dynasty, and this is how we'll close. See, legacy is all about how you want to be remembered. It's all about how you want to be remembered. But guess what? The world is bigger than you. That's why Owner Brown's company is called World Impact Now. That's why we're doing things globally with the High Peak Speakers Bureau. See, what we are talking about is that dynasty phase, and you are invited to be a part of our dynasty just by being a leader, just by spreading something positive, just by developing what I learned. When you hear something negative, don't stare it, don't post about it, develop ear lids. You need ear lids, just like you need eyelids. You see, if Les Brown would have paid attention to what was happening in his eyes, in front of his eyes, he would still be in Liberty City, not getting the key to Liberty City. Okay? And sometimes when the teachers called him educably mentally retarded, Mr. Washington, he didn't change the diagnosis. All he did was teach Dad how to develop what, sis? Ear lids.
Ear lids. That's what I'm talking about.
So that's what I told people.
Ear lids.
Ear lids. Don't put that out there. You put my content for my book out there. You should give me back for dropping that brother out there. You know what? I'll give you 30% of the keychain. Hashtag brother. I'll give you 30% like you did me. Okay? So this is what it is. The difference between legacy and dynasty is this. The legacy is all about how you want to be remembered, but dynasty is all about why you will never be forgotten.
Ooh, come on now. We want you to make sure that you remember why you're here, and that you remember who and whose you are, and that you also build a plan for yourself that will help you to live out how you will never be forgotten, and how you will also be in this thing called life while you're here. Because oftentimes we're thinking about, well, when I leave, but why are you right here, right now in this moment?
You can make an immortal impact.
Yes.
You can make an immortal impact. And how do you make an immortal impact? Well, we want to invite you right now. Come to Texas. Come to Texas. Join the First Family of Motivation. It's coming up August 26th and 27th. August 26th and 27th, and we are going to be in San Antonio, Texas. I hope if Stacey, you're probably booked, but we will be live streaming. But come be in the room. There's a VIP dinner with the man himself. It's called the Game Changers Conference. So you can go to Eventbrite, type in Game Changers Conference, and you will find out all the information. I'll be there. Ona be there. Les Brown will be there, and some special guests. But if you want to build your...
And Patrick Brown,
PB Max, preparing for tomorrow. You know he will be there. Come on now. Where would the Dynasty be without him showing up at my graduation when I graduated from Marvin Collins College?
That's right.
I'm Marvin Collins Preparatory School. That was booked that day.
That's right.
But Patrick surprised me and showed up.
That's right.
He was there.
So
we
thank each and every one of you for listening to the call tonight. We hope we have poured something of value into your reality. We love you. We want the best for you, and keep pressing towards the mark of a higher calling, and know that you have greatness.
You have greatness within you. And if you text the word WIN, to 21777, text the word WIN, 2177, you'll receive a link, and just contact us, send us your information, and we'll tell you all about our upcoming events to keep you motivated and make this the best week of your leadership career.
And so it is.
And so it is. Y'all better go. And the lines are burnt up. I need to call for the extinguishers. John Leslie Brown, you said you wanted to touch him in the bone. Well, you done stirred up the bone, probably cracked a few, and I don't know what on else. And the queen owner. Oh, I love it. I love it. You've given them so much tonight between the dream phase, destiny phase. You know I love that phase. And the dynasty. I appreciate the two of you, and it's a blessing and a privilege to be able to work with the first family of motivation and to see you transform lives globally. Congratulations on all that is to come. You just scratching the surface, sis, of what you're going to tell down there in Houston. I'm so excited for all the residents there. And John Leslie, your book and how that is moving and transforming lives. Houston is going to be, and San Antonio are going to be so blessed by this event. I wish I could be there in person. I am booked up here, but I'll be tuning in and telling folks about it and getting my people in the Texas area to come and join you. But before the two of you run, I know that you have another commitment. You're in the office getting things and making it happen. Do you have about a minute for you to take a few calls from some of our listeners before we wrap up tonight?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, please stand by. I'm going to ask that only our new callers speak first, and then we'll get to our veterans who are here every week. We literally only have about 2 minutes, so we want to get as many callers in who might have a comment and or question for the one and only Queen Ona Brown and John Leslie Brown. So stand by while I put it in Q&A mode.
All callers are unmuted. All callers are muted and may unmute themselves by pressing *6.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, just press *6 and we can take your question and or comment.
Hello, Dr. Stacy.
Hi, Ray, sweetheart. Great to hear you on the call. And I think we have a couple of people unmuted at the same time. So, Ray, let's let the new callers get in first, and then I'll come over to you, okay?
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you, sweetheart. All right. You can go right ahead. Our next caller.
Hi, this is Edward.
Hi, Edward. You can go right on in, and then we have one more caller, and then we'll go to Ray. So go right ahead, Edward.
Okay, I'm just saying that my friend Odan, she works a lot with people in Africa and of Islamic religion, and she's very interested in your family and working with you guys. That's all I have to say.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you, Edward. And I heard one other voice, and then we'll go to Ray.
Stacey, this is Deborah from New York. I'm not new, but I'm renewed. So, I was so excited I unmuted before I heard you. So thank you so much, and I'm going to let you go to Ray.
Oh, no problem.
Thank you.
Hey, Stacey.
Yes.
I'll go after Ray. This is Myron.
Okay. All right, Ray, you go right ahead, and then we'll get Myron and see if we can squeeze in two others with a question or a comment for Ona Brown and John Leslie Brown. Go ahead, Ray.
Is Russ still on the call?
He's not on right now, but he's here in the presence of Ona Brown and John Leslie Brown.
Oh, John Leslie and Ona, y'all as good as your dad, but don't tell him I said that. Y'all are fantastic. Why don't y'all come here to Dallas? Just come a little further north in Texas.
Okay, thank you so much. We appreciate that.
You coming to San Antonio? He'll be there in San Antonio. Can you tell some people?
I can't. Stacey will explain why I have a lot of health issues going on right now.
Well, we'll
But
be
I
live
do
streaming.
know a lot of people in Houston. If y'all going to Houston,
great.
you don't need my help. I know a lot of people in Houston.
Okay,
right,
well, we'll stay connected with you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank y'all.
Thanks for being here.
I love y'all.
We love you.
Love you more. Love you.
And Myron, my friend, you can go right ahead, and we'll get in one more caller before we wrap up.
Okay, thank you. Hi, Ona Brown.
Hi, how are you, King Myron?
I'm outstanding. Listen, John Wesley, y'all are rolling so hard, but you talked about preparation. I wrote everything else down, but tell me that preparation again is what?
The
highest form of faith.
It's preparation.
It's preparation.
You guys are phenomenal. Thank you.
Thank
God bless
you.
Thank
God bless you.
God bless you.
All right,
Thank
Myron, thank you. And I think we have one more new caller. Go right ahead. Just make sure that you are muted properly. And if you didn't get it tonight, no worries. I want John Leslie, please repeat the dial-in number that they can text so that they can stay connected and get direct connect on the upcoming event and the great information that you have to share.
Hello. Yes, text the word WIN to 21777. So go in your message box in the to section 21777. Just 5 digits, 21777. And 7 is my dad's favorite number, and my birthday is May 22nd. So 7 is our number. So 21777, and then you're going to text the word WIN. WIN like World Impact Now. Text the word WIN, and it'll send you a link, and then we'll send you a text message update with more details, how you can stay in touch with Ona, myself, Dad, and learn about when we're coming to Dallas. We'll be in San Antonio and also Houston. But right now, we want you to spread the word. The first Family of Motivation will be in person. This is just a tip of the iceberg. We're doing a 2-day training. Imagine spending 2 whole days with Les Brown, okay? You are going to learn what he's taught us over the past 20 years. And you just text WIN to 21777. The Game Changers Conference in San Antonio will give you more details.
Thank you, John Leslie. And there's one more caller before we wrap up. I did hear you come through. You can go ahead with your
want y'all in Dallas.
Okay, Ray, but we have a caller that's standing by. I just heard you, sir. You can go right ahead before we wrap up.
Oh, hi, Dr. Stacy. This is Siraj from Los Angeles.
My Siraj. Oh, great to hear your voice. And you have a comment or question for John Leslie and Ona tonight?
Yes,
Awesome.
I just want to say that I think the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. These are 2 wonderful souls that you had on tonight, and I want to thank both of them for such a powerful, amazing message. It shows what the power of unity can do. And I had the pleasure of meeting John Leslie in Los Angeles, I believe, a year and a half ago at a Get Motivated seminar. He came with his dad.
Awesome.
And it was amazing. And one thing I love about him, that he's always has a smile on his face no matter what, just like his sister.
Aww, thank you. We appreciate you.
They have very infectious, loving, beautiful personalities, and just being who they are just already puts a smile on me, and I thank all of you for that.
Thank you, Siraj.
For kindness does. Because of that, those that text today, you'll receive a 10% discount to our next training, okay? Because we do training over, so you'll get a 10% discount because of that comment. So powerful.
They can write that
so much.
10% in my name, yes.
All callers are muted.
Thank you. His name is Siraj. That was a great way to end our conversation tonight with Siraj. Beautiful testimonial and confirmation of the way that John Leslie Brown and Ona Brown are changing the world, spreading the message of hope that their father began years ago, building a dynasty. And truly, they will never be forgotten. So thank you both for taking time out of your very busy schedule to be here tonight to pour in to our Motivational Monday Night family. I'm excited to know and to work with you and to celebrate your brilliance in the global marketplace. So continue to be amazing, my brother and sister family. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, visit Les Brown online on Facebook at brown.les. Visit the Les Brown University, where you can get downloads of information never released before in the Les Brown community and family with the first Family of Motivation. And you can go to the LesBrownInstitute.com for information on how you can use your story, start your coaching career, and change the world and create an income for yourself. So thank you for being here.
Stacey,
yes, sir.
If they want to find out about the first Family of Motivation and Ona Brown as well, my sister who just lit it up, you check her out on Instagram. What's your Instagram, Ona? She just set it up yesterday, y'all.
No, I didn't. My Instagram is Ona with Ona. He's so
I'm
silly.
trying to get my sister some followers, y'all. Go to her Instagram right now, and we're going to put that in the name. That's going to be in Stacey's name. Go to her Instagram right now.
The Instagram is Own with Ona. That's OWNWITHONA. Own with Ona, ONA. So, and also go to onabrown.com and leave us your information. Let's stay connected. We appreciate you. Much love. Thank you, Dr. Stacey N.C. Grant. You make me proud to be a WOMAN.
I love you right back at you, sis. Thank you both so much, John Leslie. Continue rocking the world, my brother. And ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned next week. You never know who's dropping by. The Les Brown Motivational Monday Night Call. Bye-bye, everyone.